Hello friends and welcome to Pavan Puri's Pitstop and to another exciting video on badminton. And as the title says, we are going to talk about on how to convert a head light racket into a head heavy racket and an evenly balanced racket into a head heavy racket. So let's begin. So many of you or a few of you may have experienced this, that you probably wanted to have a heavier racket because you know that that will generate more power, more smashes, but then you settle down for a lighter racket for the reason that you either somebody suggests you or you think that a lighter racket is easy to use, gives you good control, good maneuverability, quick reflex, agility, and the handling is amazing, and you can just go on in a number of rallies for a longer time. But then after a few weeks or after a few months of use, you start feeling that you are not able to generate those smashes to kill the opponent's defense, but you still struggling with that lighter racket, trying to generate that power, trying to use some sort of technique, but somehow you are able to improve yourself marginally, but not to an extent where you feel accomplished, that you have actually been able to generate that power from that particular racket. So there are a few ways where you can actually increase the weight of the head of the racket. But let me tell you before I start with the few ways that I experienced. See, most of the badminton rackets are around 80 or 85 grams on an average, which are most widely used. And if we talk about the proportion says that we should not increase the weight of the head of the racket by more than 5 to 10% to an extent, which I would say that it should be only around 5 or 6%, which means around 3 to 5 grams is something I would suggest you to increase, which means that a 4U racket can be converted into a 3U racket. Because if we put on, for example, if you want to convert a 78 grams racket into an 88 grams or a 90 grams racket, I would not suggest, because the reason is increasing that much weight on the frame is going to make your smashes or your shots pretty wobbly. You'll not have that flow, that clean flow on the smashes, and you might have those wobbly times, which actually is going to drop the efficiency of the racket. Then the accuracy is something that will be compromised, and the power that you are going to put into the racket will be compromised by another 10 to 20%. So there will be no benefit on extending the weight of the head by 10 grams. So let's start with way number 1, which is using a lead tape. See, lead tape is something that if most of you or few of you would be aware, is used to change the balance of the racket, but that is particularly, I would say 95%, it is used in tennis rackets and not for badminton rackets. In the last few days, I visited around a dozen shops. Well, you will hardly find any vendors who will say that there are lead tapes manufactured only for badminton rackets, but definitely you can buy the lead tapes being used for tennis rackets, and you can just cut them into small pieces and place them on these positions like 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, then you have 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. But let me tell you one important thing that different people have suggested, to place the lead tape on the 12 o'clock position, but I would suggest not to do that, because see, this is a very thin portion, which doesn't have much support, and here you have a 3-way support which is sturdy and strong. So if you add weight on this position while smashing, you might feel some kind of a wobbly effect in the racket, and you'll find that swing in the racket. So my suggestion is, even if you see the companies, they put the most amount of weight here in the T joint to make it head heavy, and then it travels and then ends up around here. So I would say this is probably the right area where you can actually place the lead tape or any other arrangement. Now the way number 2 that we are going to talk about is the one that we need to concentrate on today, which is probably a very cheap version and a very easy way to increase the weight of the head of the racket. So now let me show you that this is where this racket has been balanced, and then I'll increase the weight of the head of the racket and demonstrate if it changes or not. You see this? Okay, now these are puncture patches for cycle tubes or tire tubes. These are puncture patches, and you can get it on any puncture shop or any cycle store. You can get these. Maybe you can get 10 for 10 bucks maybe. And they weigh around 1 gram, not more than that. They around 1 gram, and on the back you have this sticky thing. You can just take off this blue tape and you can place it onto the racket. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to place it on positions, and then we'll see if the balance of the racket has changed or not. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take it off, peel it off, and then I am going to cut it into two pieces, equal two pieces, which has okay, we do it like this. Okay, now we have the sticky part, and then I'm going to take off the rest of this, and then I am going to paste this half over this half, which means now the entire 1 gram, we have entire 1 gram. Now see here, I have pasted this puncture patch here. This has enough glue to stick on to the racket, but if you feel that the glue is not enough, you can just put a slight amount of adhesive onto this and you can just stick it here. Now which means you have 1 gram of weight here, and then another puncture patch can be cut into half and you can paste it this side, and another one can be pasted here, and one can be pasted here, which means around 3 to 4 grams of weight has been increased on the head of the racket. And now we will see how the balance of the racket changes. This was the position where I had put it earlier. Now I'll balance it after pasting some more puncture patches and see how the changes take effect. So instead of sticking them, I'll just place them to make you understand easily. So here I have puncture patches. I'm going to place 3 puncture patches. One I'm going to place here, one I'm going to place here, and one I'm going to place on on the 3 and the 9 o'clock positions. And then let's see if the balance point has changed or not, and by how much has it changed. Okay, now you see the balance point has changed. See, the balance point now is here. It is almost around I would say 25 millimeters. So now you see that adding these 3 more puncture patches, which I've not pasted because that will take a longer time. You see now that the balance point has changed. See, this is around 25 to 30 millimeters. The balance point has changed, which means we have a significant weight on the racket. But of course it is not more than 3.5 or maybe 4 grams. But this is something, there's an arrangement that you can do. This is a cheap thing. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can get these puncture patches from any cycle shop for just about 5 or 10 bucks, and you can change the weight of the racket, but of course by not a huge margin. So friends, I'm quite sure, I'm quite sure that this is something new and exciting that you will definitely try with your rackets. And make sure that the adhesive you use is not the watery one, the one that is a little thicker, like which is very much similar to the mucus, I would say, because when you peel it off, it will come off with the patch and will not affect the paint of the racket. And the most important thing is, if you have any improvisations and anything that you have tried or something that I misfired, definitely let me know in the comment section. And I tested it on my Apex Z Ziggler because I just wanted to experiment that how an Apex Z Ziggler would perform if it is changed from a 4U racket to a 3U racket. So it performed pretty well. And share in your experiences, as I mentioned before. And until then, stay healthy, stay safe, watch healthy videos, stay away from corona, and have a good day.